we are going to be talking about mountain biking shoes, and more specifically we're going to be talking about these three mountain biking shoes in front of me. I've tried each and every shoe. I've ridden in each one and I have different opinions on each one. And this video is strictly opinion based, right? Like what I say isn't necessarily set in stone, like, oh, this shoe is the best or this shoe is the best. It comes down to preference. I just want to start off the video by saying that. This video is mainly to give you an insight of what I've experienced through testing these shoes, basically. All right, now that I've said that, I'm just gonna start off by saying these are my favorite mountain biking shoes. These are the Sk8 made by Vans, and I'll go into detail as to why they're my favorite mountain biking shoe in just a bit. So first we're gonna start off with these, and then we're gonna work our way to these. So a good buddy of mine named Andrew, who works at Vans, a huge shout out to him, he sent me this pair and this pair of Vans to test out. So this pair of Vans is a skate high style, and on the bottom they have their waffle cup BMX grip, which is designed basically for BMX riding. I love everything about this shoe, right? That it's high top, the color, the look, the feel, it's pretty good. The only thing that I had some issues with were this grip design. Now I ride some Deity T-Mac pedals, which are designed for downhill riding, like free riding type stuff. I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can see that video on those pedals. But the cool thing about these shoes is like when you're locked in, right? Like it feels amazing and your foot just stays glued. But the only issue is like if I get bucked or my foot slips a little, I feel like I lose that tight lock on my feet. And then I have to readjust and get myself situated. Initially, when you start the ride, your feet are glued, but for whatever reason, let's say you get bucked or your foot slips, that's when I start struggling on getting my foot feeling secured. And I think it has to do with the various designs on the bottom of the shoe, like in regards to the grip. Yeah, that's my only critique. Other than that, they're a solid shoe. Like I said, I love the look, I love the feel, the high top feel, and it's pretty similar to this shoe. And I'll explain the biggest difference as to why I like these more versus these once we get to this pair of shoes. So that's that. Awesome feel. It's just when I lose my footing, it's hard to get that locking feel in. Second pair of shoes that I'm going to be talking about are made by Ride Concepts. Now, I got these shoes on Cyber Monday because I wanted to try them out. You know, I don't like to say I don't like something until I've tried it out, right? Like in regards to food, I won't say I don't like a certain style of food or a certain type of food until I've tried it. So that was my logic with these shoes. I wanted to see what the hype was about because I know this is a very popular mountain biking shoe. It's very similar to the 510s. And that's what I read on a bunch of forums. The grip is nearly identical to 510s. There's a few critiques that I had to this shoe. One was they're not high top. I broke my ankle when I was like 13 or 12, I can't remember. And the high top feel is essential for me to feel confident on my bike. So this is the highest I could find. I think these are mid tops. That's my first critique that I wasn't a fan of. It didn't make my ankle feel very secure. Second up is that the shoe is just way too stiff, man. I don't know if it gets better as you break them in, but right off the bat, I wasn't a fan of how stiff these are because I felt like my foot couldn't hug the pedal. When you get a brand new pair of Vans, I feel like even right out the box, they're perfect. They hug my pedal so well and I feel very confident on them. With these, I just wasn't a fan of the out of the box feel. To be honest, the grip wasn't all that for me. I felt like I had more grip with these pair of shoes than these pair. And it's crazy because these are actually designed for mountain biking. So maybe it's just because I've grown up riding Vans my entire life. That's what I'm used to. Maybe it's just a comfort thing. Like I'm so used to the Vans and the feel of Vans that's what I gravitate towards. The first time I rode with these was at San Clemente at Dog Park, and the first run I did with them, I went back to the car and I swapped them out for another pair of Vans that I had in the car because of the fact that I didn't like them that much. I think it's more of a preference thing. I think these shoes are pretty cool, you know, they look sick. But in regards to feel, for me, it just wasn't cutting it. Like, I wasn't a fan of it. Moving on to the last pair of shoes, and my favorite pair of shoes are the Vans Sk8 High with the original waffle grip on it. And the reason I love these shoes so much is because I always feel like I have a good lock on my pedals when I'm going downhill. And even if I get bucked or my foot slips a little bit, I still feel like they're locked in fairly tight because of the fact that the grip is so consistent throughout the shoe. Even if my foot moves a little bit, all the grip is the same throughout, so it's still consistent with that feel, if that makes sense. And that was my critique with these. Since the patterns were different throughout the shoe, I felt like once I lost that locked in feel, it was hard to get it back. And again, I broke my ankle when I was young. The high top feel is a must for me. I love these shoes, and I think they're gonna be my riding shoe for here on out until, you know, something comes along that's better. But in my opinion, these are my bread and butter. I don't see myself ever switching because of the fact that I'm just so used to this style of shoe. And the reason I'm making this video is because I wanted to just give you guys an insight of what I've experienced, right? Like, I wasn't gonna talk down on these until I tried them. And I tried them, and I have my opinion on them. And let me just say that I was riding Sk8 Highs even before my buddy Andrew was hooking me up with Vans. So even if he wasn't, you know, sending me shoes and stuff like that, I would still purchase these with my own personal money, without a doubt. So it just goes to show you that I am a true fan of these. It's not because, you know, I'm getting hooked up or anything. I'm not trying to sell you guys this shoe and it's the best. It's just personally what I love. That's actually how Andrew reached out to me. He saw me riding a pair of Sk8 Highs in some of my older videos, and he asked if he could send me some shoes. And I was like, of course, dude. So it's just a blessing that, you know, I have that opportunity. But nonetheless, I'm a huge fan of Vans. I'm a huge fan of this style of shoe, and I think I always will be. I hope this video gave you guys somewhat of an idea of what shoes you want to try, and highly recommend just trying a bunch of stuff until you figure out what really works for you. That's that on that. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.